In this video, we're going to be talking about dust and the best air purifiers for dust. Dust is everywhere. Why is dust everywhere? Because the sources for dust are everywhere. In most homes, about 2/3 of dust come from outdoor sources and only about 1/3 come from indoor sources. Outdoor sources include natural sources like pollen, like soil. There are also man-made outdoor sources. These are things like pollution. So in exhaust fumes, for example, there may be particles, and these particles make their way all the way into your home as dust. And so there is another example of dust from outdoor sources. Indoor sources of dust include human beings and animals, something like a human hair or dead skin cells. Those are good examples of human beings and animals providing an indoor source of dust. Textiles and papers are another good example of an indoor source of dust. The small little fibers that come off of those types of items, those also provide another source of dust. And really anything else indoors that releases tiny particles is also going to be another source of dust. So something like cooking is a good example of another source, another indoor source of dust that releases small particles that eventually become dust. So the bottom line here is that dust comes from everywhere and that there are many different sources of dust. And this means that the nature and the characteristic of dust particles also varies greatly depending on those sources. So in an air purifier, in the average air purifier, there are two different filters that will take care of most of these dust particles. And those filters are going to capture the dust particles and they're going to leave them trapped on the filter. On the table here today, we have two examples of air purifiers that contain these two types of filters. Each of these units contain a pre-filter and a particle filter. Now, the pre-filter is going to take care of the larger particles. The pre-filter is the first filter that air has to travel through when it enters into the air purifier. And so any type of large particle is going to naturally be trapped on that pre-filter. So both of these units and most units on the market come with a pre-filter. Now, the smaller particles, that is the smaller dust particles, are going to make their way all the way to the particle filter that is going to be the last filter on these units and is going to be the last filter inside of most air purifiers. And that particle filter is likely to be a HEPA filter. On these units, it is a HEPA filter. On most air purifiers on the market, it's going to be a HEPA filter, but that is going to be the filter that is going to trap those smaller particles. So let's talk a little bit more about each one of those filters and the variants that you see for air purifiers on the market. Now, first of all, we have the pre-filter. On these two units on the table here today, these are actually two top-rated units, and they both come with a washable pre-filter. Now, a washable pre-filter is going to saturate with larger particles, but it's going to allow you to clean it up, to vacuum it, to wash it if necessary, and that is going to remove those larger particles, and then you can replace that filter inside of the unit. You don't have to buy to replace it, you only clean to replace it. The other type of pre-filter that is prominent on the market is a replaceable pre-filter. Now, replaceable pre-filters are just that. They have to be bought. They have to be bought at a cost to replace them. So they saturate with large particles just the same as these pre-filters, these washable pre-filters here. However, they eventually reach a point of saturation where they have to be replaced and you have to pay to replace those filters. A lot of air purifiers on the market actually combine the gas filter, the carbon filter, with a pre-filter. So there is no separate gas filter and pre-filter. It is actually just one filter, and that one filter saturates with large particles as that one filter is essentially the pre-filter. And this is quite common with less expensive air purifiers. So between the two types of pre-filters, the replaceable ones and the washable ones, which type of pre-filter do we recommend? Well, we definitely recommend washable pre-filters. The fact is that the pre-filter is not the most important filter in terms of particle filtration. The HEPA filter, the particle filter, that is the last filter in these units, is going to do most of the heavy lifting there. The purpose of the pre-filter is simply to keep the particle filter from saturating as fast. It is there to catch the larger particles that, if they were to make it all the way to the HEPA filter, would saturate it very quickly. So by saturating that pre-filter, now you're saturating a filter that is either less expensive to replace than the HEPA filter in those units that feature the replaceable pre-filter, or you have a pre-filter like the one that is installed on these units where you can wash the filter, where you can vacuum it, and you can do so free of cost without needing to replace anything there. And so that is the goal of that pre-filter, to extend the life of the particle filter and thereby lower the cost of overall ownership of the air purifier. So again, we recommend the washable pre-filter over those replaceable pre-filters, really for all users. Now, lastly, we need to talk about the particle filter. Now, both of these top-rated units here come equipped with a true HEPA filter. There are also HEPA type filters on the market. There are also permanent filters. There are proprietary particle filters, but our recommendation is a true HEPA filter. A true HEPA filter is going to provide 99.97% efficiency for particles 0.3 microns or larger, and that is a tremendously high efficiency rating for a particle filter. That is going to be your gold standard, the type of filter that you are going to want to look out for the air purifier that you buy for dust is a true HEPA filter. So if you are looking for an air purifier for dust, we really have two foremost recommendations. First of all, a pre-filter that is washable, that does not need to be replaced at cost. Second is a true HEPA filter. If you purchase an air purifier that is equipped with both of those types of filters, you should be well on your way to purchasing a good air purifier for dust. Now, on the table here today, again, we have two air purifiers that fit these requirements very well, the Winix 5500-2 and the Koei Mighty air purifier. These are some of the best air purifiers on the market for any type of particle really, and definitely for dust. So if you are looking for a specific model for an air purifier for dust, these two models definitely fit the bill there. Again, both come with a washable pre-filter, a true HEPA filter. Both are also very energy efficient. Both also have a low noise output, and both also give you great value for the amount of air processing power that they provide. And we would really recommend either one of these units as a specific model if you are looking for the best air purifier for dust. Now, before we go, we do want to mention that we are constantly testing new models. And as we test those new models, there very well may be a new model that comes out that replaces one or both of these models as the top rated units that we recommend for dust. We will have a link in the description to this video to our latest list of the best air purifiers for dust. So definitely check that out if you are interested in our latest list of the best air purifiers for dust.